Hi everyone. I made this alcohol ink painting just one evening because I had packed away all my art supplies and I had these inks sitting out there. Haven't played with inks in a while. Just dropped some drops and decided to doodle on top of them as a part of a meditative art therapy session. I didn't really think anything about it. I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And then suddenly I decided yesterday afternoon that I wanted to cut it up. And there's no real reason why I wanted to do that after I had spent an hour and a half doodling on this thing. It was just because I'd never done it before. I've made a lot of alcohol ink paintings in the past and they're all in a box. And I've scanned them, I've used them on images for clothing, for handbags and things like that. I've gifted some of them, I've framed some of them, but I've never cut one up. So I took out my journal and, as I always do, apply the first layer of gesso, and then I started out with the sailboat blue, the alcohol ink that I had used on the Yupo paper to create the alcohol ink painting. That was my first layer. Then I went in with some acrylic inks and I tried to use the same or similar shades of blue and teal for my background. Again, no purpose in mind. You can see on my workstation, I don't even have any colors pre-selected for this. I was kind of just reaching for things and seeing what works. And then I used a Jane Davenport acrylic pen. Just picked up my speckled egg and did a kind of random rubbing across of the Distress ink pad. Added some more of the acrylic ink in a different direction. And I was just kind of getting a feel for it. And I always like to touch my paper and use my fingers, get messy. And then I kind of, something about the circles, I just started making circles and I didn't have a plan for balance or symmetry or anything of that sort. It was just a matter of seeing what color goes where. I just wanted to do circles for some reason that I don't know yesterday. But that's kind of what I was going for, just leaning into my intuition and still sticking with the shades of blue, going a bit darker in some areas, and spreading color around, gluing on the pieces that I had cut. And it almost made me feel a sense of, there was some energy that I have tried to think about it and I don't have a feeling for it. There was no grief, it was no sadness to cut up my painting as I was gluing it over. There was just a different energy in the whole piece that started kind of speaking to me and guiding me. And I know it sounds really philosophical and kind of woo-woo, but that's really the way I can explain how I do my process. There really isn't a method to it that I can pinpoint and say, first do the layers in blue and then do vertical lines, then do horizontal lines, then add some dots, then add some circles, then stick your pieces. There really is no method to this madness. And I really wanted to re-emphasize that when you're journaling, just go with your heart. It's just paper, it's just paint. That's the bottom line. And you are just using that as a creative outlet. The more you sit and pause and think and reflect, the more structured your outcome becomes. And I find that when I just go with the flow and not think about what I'm doing, just reaching for things that I see, that I spot, there's a reason why my eye lands on something and I pick it up. There's something inside me that's telling me to do that. And I lean into that. And I really don't care if this works or it doesn't as a cohesive piece. I don't. It's the journey that I'm after. And I was reading Oprah magazine the night before, so I had noticed there was this beautiful painting of a lady in blues, teals, greens, and purples. And so I just cut that one piece from there and another one that I stuck later to the left side of the journal page. But I don't collage, but there was something about that piece that I wanted to incorporate. It was something about the evening, reading about how 2020 is so different and how, we're going to be celebrating Christmas very differently this year. Everyone is. And I just wanted that to be part of this, that you don't have to do things the way they've always been done. I think that's why I reached for that. And I can psychoanalyze this piece for a while, but there's sometimes you just have to trust your gut and not have reasons, well-defined reasons to do things. Sure, there are, principles of color theory and all of that. There's balance, designers will tell you 1/3 of the page and where your eye goes, and there's definitely value in learning all of it. I am a self-taught artist. I haven't learned the basic principles of any of these philosophies or techniques. I go solely by how it looks to me. And if it feels right to me, I stop. If it feels like I need to continue, I keep going on. And I really think that there is a lot of merit in guiding yourself through that process in a very, for a lack of a better word, random way. Just do it. That's the whole thing. Just do it. Just enjoy the process. When I was done putting in all the paint, I kept feeling like it's missing some texture. It's missing some texture. I didn't know what texture it was missing, but then I went over to my drawers on the left and I still had my crackle paste out. And so I just took that and I'm just kind of adding some grit. And then I was just looking at this page later and I was thinking, that's grit and determination. I think that's the message I was going for, was you have to have grit to be able, and courage to be able to say, you know what, I'm just going to do things my way. I don't care what the rules say. And then I just picked up some stencils because I felt it needed some numbers. I just randomly grabbed numbers, 1039. I mean, my daughter looked at it later and she said, was it 10:39 when you were making this journal? I don't know what time it was, but I did look up later. I just did a Google search and I wrote 1039 significance. Guess what the first thing was? It says, angel number 1039 is a message from your angels to continue visualizing and taking action towards pursuing your spiritual path. Angel number 1039 also invites you to live your life in such a positive way that it will encourage and inspire others to do the same with theirs. I cried when I read that. Why did I pick up 1039? No reason. I was just randomly picking up whichever number came in my hand. And then I did the ones and the zeros, and to me that represents symmetry. It's like, there are things that are symmetrical. There's order, and there's a reason obviously for that order, but my intuition tells me to break the rules, to do things, to question things, not always just for the heck of it, but to, wonder, why are things done a certain way, and can they be done a different way? What would that look like? So I'm able to fuel my curiosity in my journal pages by doing that. And the reason I share all of this philosophical stuff with you is to say, just do what your heart tells you to do. It's a very freeing, very liberating feeling. And I've been watching a lot of Tim Holtz's videos. I watched a lot of his Facebook Lives, and I've been going back and replaying videos that I missed. And there's this one message that he keeps saying, you do you. It's very, very simple, yet very, very powerful. And I hope that if there's anything that you take away from this, is that message. You do you. If you want to follow rules and do it, the proper way, that's totally fine. If that's what gives you joy, do that. If you want to question things and you want to do something different, do that. Trust yourself, have faith, and just enjoy the process. Don't worry about the end result. I'm not saying this as a life philosophy. I'm not being a life coach in saying that, but I do want you to experience that with your art. Give yourself the freedom to do something different, to do something that's more intuitive, without an end goal, and see where it leads you. Go down that path. It'll be weird, it might even be scary, but you're doing it, just to see how it makes you feel. Sometimes I think there's value in that. Thanks so much for watching.